Your Honor, defense calls Kirby Doolittle. Good morning, Miss Doolittle. Could you please introduce yourself to the jury?
Sure. Good morning. My name is Kirby Doolittle.
What do you do for a living, Miss Doolittle?
Oh, I'm a full-time student, but I'm going to go to law school, Harvard Law School.
Well, that's great. Have you gone in yet?
No, but I'm going to Harvard.
Well, while you've been a student at your university, have you had any other jobs?
Yeah, actually, I worked at TBD as an intern when I was a sophomore. I sent them my scented resume. It adds a little something.
Well, when you got this job at TBD, what did you do there?
At first, it was just like normal intern stuff. I got them coffee and did copy jobs, but eventually they thought I was pretty hardworking, so they let me sit down in writer circles and they let me work with the business team.
Well, when you sat on these writer circles, did you ever interact with the plaintiff, Miss Winter?
Yeah, Riley. I actually talked to her more than anyone else in the office. She was sort of a mentor to me. She taught me what I was supposed to do.
Well, even though the plaintiff was a mentor to you, did she get along with the other employees as well?
I love Riley, but sometimes she would get in arguments with the other writers or the editor.
What do you mean she would get in arguments with the editor and the other writers?
Well, like I said, I would sit in on these writer circles, and the purpose of the writer circles were to talk about what the writers were going to write about. But when we would talk about those topics, Riley would always say that they were stupid.
Well, what were these topics that Miss Winter would say were stupid?
It was just normal pop culture stuff that people like me would be interested in, celebrity gossip, music, that sort of thing.
Well, are these the sort of things that TBD generally wrote about?
Yeah, that's what TBD is now. We just talk about pop culture.
Well, when Miss Winter would call these topics stupid, what would happen in those meetings?
Usually she would get in a really long back and forth with our editor, and eventually our editor would just have to say, we'll talk about this later, and we'd have to move on because we had a lot to do.
So we talked about how Miss Winter would waste time in those meetings, but I want to talk about what topics she actually wrote about. Do you know what topics she wrote about?
I know what her job was supposed to be, but I can't really remember anything she wrote about just because I didn't read her articles.
Well, what were the general topics of her articles? Was she writing academically or like the fluff pieces that Miss Shaw wrote?
She would kind of just write about things and people I'd never really heard of and use words I didn't really understand.
I want to talk about a particular article that she wrote. Did you ever read the article that she wrote at the end of last year about Turntable?
Yeah, I actually did read that article just because of all the trouble it caused.
Now, what is Turntable?
Turntable, it's sort of like Spotify or Pandora. It's just like a music app and they suggest music to you based on the music that you already say you like. I like it.
Would you recognize this article if I showed it to you?
I would.
Your Honor, may I approach Miss Doolittle with Exhibit 10?
Yes.
Showing Miss Leslie Exhibit 10. Miss Doolittle, I'm handing you Exhibit 10. Could you tell the jury what that is?
Yeah, this is the article that Riley wrote about Turntable.
Is this a true and correct copy of that article?
Yeah.
Your Honor, Defense Office Exhibit 10 into evidence.
No objection, Your Honor.
Great. All right, Miss Doolittle, could you read for the jury the title of this article about Turntable?
Sure. Turntable's new Q rate is ruining music.
Now, when Miss Winter said that Turntable was ruining music, what did you think about that as an intern at the company?
Well, personally, I disagree with it. I think Turntable is great. It's one of my favorite things to use when I want to listen to music. I'm subscribed to it. All my friends are too.
Did you have any other issues when you read this article?
Yeah, like I said, I actually worked with the business team too when I was an intern, and I knew that Turntable was our biggest advertiser just because my boss talked about it so much.
How long after Miss Winter said that TBD's biggest advertiser was ruining music was Miss Winter let go?
Well, it says it was published December 15th, so I think it was a week. It was a week between this getting published and her getting fired.
I want to move on and I want to talk about what happened after Miss Winter was let go.
Sure.
Did you ever see her after she was let go?
Yeah, I actually, after my internship ended, I went and emailed her because I wanted to thank her for everything she did for me, and I found out that she had actually been let go. And so of course I felt bad, and I offered to bring her some soup. Soup always makes me feel better when I'm sad.
Well, when you brought Miss Winter soup, did she seem like she needed cheering up?
Actually, no. It was pretty surprising. She opened the door and she had her big smile on her face, and she gave me one of her regular hugs, and we talked.
Well, Miss Doolittle, we've heard a lot about some symptoms that Miss Winter has been suffering from PTSD. I want to ask if you saw any of those. Did she ever tell you that she was experiencing flashbacks?
Objection, Your Honor. This witness doesn't have the knowledge to testify to whether or not this witness was experiencing symptoms of PTSD.
Your Honor, may I respond?
Yeah.
I'm asking Miss Doolittle about specific symptoms that she could observe with her eyes. Whether Miss Winter told her that she was experiencing flashbacks, things like that.
Your Honor, that's expert knowledge. She can't know that.
Response?
Your Honor, this is not expert knowledge for her to confirm or deny if Miss Winter told her that she was experiencing flashbacks.
Here's what I'll say. Kind of blocking here.
I'm sorry.
What we'll say is I think he just asked if she saw some symptoms, and he's not asking her to make any sort of formal diagnosis. Now, what I will say is if some of these symptoms aren't readily apparent, or if Miss whatever her name is, Winter, can't describe those symptoms readily, like, okay, like, are you experiencing like mental trauma? If she asked something like that, I'd be like, okay, she really isn't a doctor, maybe she can't even self-diagnose that. But, you know, flashbacks, hot flashes, that kind of stuff, I will allow because I think that a layperson could describe those symptoms to another person, or a layperson could observe those symptoms in another person. So I'm going to overrule, as long as he stays within that. If he goes into some things that require specific scientific knowledge, you should feel free to object again.
Yes.
Overruled.
Miss Doolittle, did Miss Winter tell you that she was experiencing flashbacks after being let go?
Well, no, she didn't.
And did she tell you that she was having trouble sleeping?
No, she never mentioned it to me.
Did she tell you she was having trouble eating?
No, she ate the soup that I brought her.
Did she tell you she was having nightmares?
No, she never mentioned anything like that to me.
Did she tell you she was having panic attacks?
Oh gosh, no.
What did she tell you?
Well, she told me that, yeah, it was hard getting fired at first when I asked about it, but that she was glad that she got out before the crash because that idiot, our CEO, was running TVDs.